Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Gaming Duo podcast. I'm your host for this week, Rob Garcia, joined by my co-host, Kel Rolone. Guys, I had a lot of shit happen to me today, but before I get into that shit, this is a podcast where we bring you the latest gaming news every weekday, every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. Kelvin, my fucking day today has been pretty interesting. How has your day been? You good, buddy?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, sorry. I was just playing Marvel Snap here. You know, it's
okay. Let's talk about that real quick.
Games that I just can't.
Let's talk about that. All right.
Honestly, it's very addicting. I'm telling you right now, I'm super addicted to this game for absolutely no reason. It's a great game. And it makes you want to keep playing this game. I'm fucking addicted. And I keep throwing hints at you. I'm like, hey, Rob, did you download that game yet? You're like, yeah, I'll get to it. I'm like, all right, cool. Then we have like a little group chat with one of our friends. They're like, hey, guys, did you guys check this game out? And no one responded. Thank you, guys. And I'm just like, no one's playing this game. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, lucky for you, while I was using the bathroom today at one point.
You took it while you were taking a shit? You were just
playing? I downloaded it and I played it. First thing I'm going to say, pretty dope from what I played. Mm-hmm. And let me just talk about one thing.
Okay.
I think the most important thing, the soundtrack,
fire! It's a banger.
Stupid
banger, dude.
Stupid.
I'm playing, and at first I wasn't playing with the sound on because I always have my phone on like vibrate. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm like, you know what? Let's just hear what this like game sounds like. And I'm like bopping to it. I'm like, holy shit, this is dope. And like it just sounds cool. Everything about it is
the voice acting's solid. Everything is amazing. Yep. Yeah. So
a little bit about this game real quick before we move on and things. So basically, this is a card game, a Marvel card game, and it is 6 rounds, maybe 7 if you pick a certain like
deck
or something like that. But 6 rounds. It's super quick. It's super, dare I say, snappy. You know what I mean? And on top of that, it has like all the cool Marvel characters that you would love. You obviously have to collect them. And they have really cool like attributes. It has like really cool like attack. Like everything about it is just really like dope. It's flashy. It's cool as hell. Like I'm sold, man. I'm sold.
It is extremely fun. I think I could actually, if you want to show people, our visual listeners, that it's fucking slick. Like everything is super easy.
Well, if you go to the settings, you can actually change the frame rates to 60 frames per second. It's originally at 30, so I switched it to 60, and I'm like, oh man, it looks pretty. Like it runs way more smoother, you know?
Yeah, and the tutorial does a really good job of explaining the game. It's similar to any type of deck builder card game, but it's quick. 6 rounds. You don't actually attack, which is weird. That was like kind of what you basically have to just beat number of points you have to capture like the objective basically, which is cool.
Right. What I do like about the game is the fact that when every match you go into, you don't know how it's going to go, you know, because each section, I don't know how you describe them, but each section has different things, like different like environmental factors that can change the whole setting of the game, like the whole match. So, and it changes each game. So you don't know what you're going to get every time you play. So it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you like really strategic gameplay. Like I love it, man. It's really good.
Yeah, I love those deck builder type games. Like they're all fun for the most part. Like every single one that I've mostly tried has been pretty fun. Have you played Slay the Spire yet? It's on Game Pass.
Slay the Spire? No. Yeah. No. I haven't heard of it.
That's another good one that you would like. I mean, obviously,
actually, you did mention it to me.
Yeah, I think Gaming Together podcast actually. That's like Nave's. I think like one of his favorite games. Shout out to Nave. But yeah, so awesome game. Honestly, I'm sorry it took me so long to actually play it, but I actually played it for like a little bit, and from what I saw, it's dope.
Alyris is texting me here. She's saying, when you're done talking about that game, go back and ask Rob how his day was because you completely skipped it. So, Rob,
well, you skipped it. We'll blame Kelvin because he interrupted me. Like, look at Marvel Snap. Look at this.
That's exactly. She's basically like telling me like, oh, make sure you ask him how.
She's basically still like, hey, Kelvin, shut the fuck up. You know. So,
so how's your day, Rob?
My day has been shit.
Okay.
So woke up today, no power. Right, had to work. So I'm trying to figure out work. Right, I'm like, okay, power's off. it'll come back on. It's just what's going to happen,
Yeah,
right?
power, you know.
So I'm like, let me just go to the cafe near down my house. It has Wi-Fi. I'll get a coffee. I'll work there. It'll be fine. What ends up being is I don't have power till 7 o'clock at night. So we almost thought I couldn't come and do the podcast because I thought I was going to have power. And I'm moving, by the way. I'm moving out of my apartment on Friday, so I still need to pack. You can see behind me that there's still like a ton of boxes and stuff like that. Just getting ready. Like all my stuff is already, or for the most part, packed. But yeah, it's super stressful. I was just going to be sitting here in the dark, twiddling my thumbs, like I'm not the Amish or something like that. So
Lyris brought up a good point because I did mention it to her. What were you gonna do with your refrigerator? Like all the stuff that you had in your fridge if you had no power?
It was probably gonna be bad. Like we probably had to throw it out. Just throw it out. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like freaking out about that, and then finally we figured it out and everything worked out. But I'm over here like half working, like on like using my hotspot for like internet, and like my phone battery's gonna die soon. So I'm just like, this sucks. But it worked out, and I'm here. So
I actually was contemplating on doing the episode as well because I had a pounding headache, dude. I could not, like, I had to take a nap because it was just pounding me.
Just pounding your head,
just everywhere, pounding, just kind of constant pounding. I couldn't stop it. You know what I mean? So I took a nap and I felt much better. But yeah, so this episode could have not been.
It was almost a disaster.
It was almost a disaster. Yeah.
Shout out to Kevin from Binge-Worthy Gaming. He was going to step up to the plate and help us out like the homie he is. So seriously, guys, go check him out. Yeah, the man, the myth, the legend, Binge-Worthy Gaming. Please check out his YouTube channel. He is awesome. You'll love him. Kel,
Rob,
yes.
I know this is your week to host. However, I have something to talk to you about, and I know this is a gaming podcast, right? But I think our listeners and our viewers would appreciate this. Because this is a struggle that I've been dealing with for ever since I went on paternity leave. Lyris, my wife, does not want me to grow this beard that I'm doing right now. Now, I need everyone that's listening, I need everyone that's following us to tell me, what do you think about my beard? And if I should continue growing it, because my wife just does not want it. And I'm not having it, you know?
I think we need to go to social as well and post it on there and see what the responses are there.
You're right.
Right. But
just throw it to her face.
For me, I think you should do it. Like it's going to look big and have like a Kratos beard.
That's what I want.
I think Kratos beard.
I think I am inspired by Kratos right now because of this whole, like, the game coming out in a few weeks. And I'm like, you know what?
Is this the longest it's been right now?
Close. It's been close.
It looks good. It looks good.
Does it?
Lyris está fumando. Tú estás fumando. He looks great.
She's smoking something. You know what I mean? But it's all good. It's all good.
But yeah, I haven't really had a ton of games to play. Like I said, I was traveling quite a bit earlier this week. I was able to actually use my Steam Deck and bring it with me on a plane and actually experience that. And let me tell you, man, it is not as great as you think it is. Because when you travel with it, you're not traveling with just a Steam Deck. You always have the case on it. And this case is bulky because you have your power cord, all that kind of stuff. So that's taking up half my book bag. And you know how planes are. You have a very limited amount of space underneath there. So, like, I'm literally... Bye, Lyris. Kelvin's wife just said, bye. But yeah, I'm taking this out. And I'm, like, holding this thing. And I'm like, this thing is massive.
Chunky.
Like, I have to, like... navigate how I'm gonna like move away from my seat. Like I can't just like slip into a little pocket somewhere. No, like, and you're afraid to like damage it too because it's so big. So,
but you have the carrying case, which helps a lot.
It does help a lot. But when you're carrying that case, if you're just like traveling with just a case, perfectly fine. But most of the time, you're bringing you're bringing like stuff with you in a backpack. You got like your iPad. You don't just have like your Steam Deck on you. At least that's how I travel.
Right.
But I found it a little bit unwieldy for actual traveling, in my opinion. Plus, this is a good point that I want to make later in the show, is like cloud gaming. I couldn't really cloud game because I have access to internet. I'm like, that's kind of the point of like...
It kind of makes your Steam Deck
less
useless, right? At that point. I mean, you could play some games that you have, but it is not as fun if you're not playing the games that you're currently playing, right? Which
right, and isn't
Game
that
Pass
the
games.
point of like cloud gaming is to be able to play on the go like very easily and not have to worry about downloading shit, right?
We're
like,
not there yet. You know what I mean? We're not
you're
quite
right.
there yet. So, and that's the problem. Like, so yeah.
Well, I'm gonna shut up about my life, and Kelvin, are you done? Talk about your life.
I think I'm good. I think
Okay,
I'm
you're good. Talk.
I got everything out of my chest. You know.
Okay.
There might be
All right.
more to come, so stay tuned. But
All right. Well, let's get into the gaming news for the week. We have a couple of news pieces here. Not too crazy. Like, it's a little quiet news week. We're gonna probably get a ton soon, just because November's like fucking crazy.
yeah.
So for the first news piece, we have Bayonetta 3 review roundup. We have some reviews from Bayonetta upon release. The embargo was lifted, and reviews look good, as we kind of figured. Like, usually Bayonetta does pretty well. Metacritic at the time of this recording is at 89. I don't know if it's percent. I think it's just 89 out of 100. They don't do
Just
percent.
89 out of 100,
It's
yeah.
weird. Okay. IGN gave it a 9, stating it is one of the best combat systems in gaming. It's even better in Bayonetta 3, saying it's a step up from everything else. One low point, they said the story is okay. They say
That's a like a constant thing from each review that I've been noticing so far. Yeah.
right. So it's basically like, if you like over the top action, you're gonna love this game. Even Polygon said the same thing about, like, if you are a fan of a Devil May Cry, which I am. I literally have Devil May Cry sitting like in the box right there. You'll like this, but if you want more story, you're gonna be. It's a little lacking. So I think that's probably why it didn't get a perfect 10, from what everyone's saying. What do you think so far about this game, previewing and the reviews that have come out?
I think this is to be expected, like you said, right? I think Devil May Cry paved the way to games like Bayonetta, and Devil May Cry does a little bit better in a sense of, like, the combat is a little bit more fine-tuned, and I think there's more of a story, more of a lore to be kind of like grasping for, right? To actually want and need. But Bayonetta still does a fantastic job of, like, giving you that, like, hack and slash, like, beat 'em up, like, really, like, fast-paced action that you want. Set aside the gameplay, set aside the story, it's like, do you really listen, or do you really care about the story for Bayonetta? Like, I don't think a lot of people do, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are people that are, like, really into the story, but for the most part, I think people are just in there for the gameplay, the style, and yeah, it's fun. That's it. It's just a fun game. You turn off your brain, and that's it.
Literally, I would consider myself a Bayonetta fan, right?
Right.
I like the game. I try to play all of them, and I enjoy them thoroughly. But if you were to ask me what happens in the story, I have no idea.
Right. Yeah. I think that's a lot of people's consensus with this, because the fact that the game is just fun to play, the story, and that's how you have a great gameplay, because if the story doesn't mean anything to you, if you have no idea what the hell is going on, but you're still playing the game because it's fun, then you're doing a great job. You know what I mean? You're doing something good.
Right. So, like, in this sense, the gameplay's carrying the game, which you would almost prefer, right? Because if it was the other way around, where,
Right.
like, the story's really good but the gameplay's awful, you can't get past that hurdle. It's just too hard of a hurdle. Whereas it's the opposite. It's flipped.
Right.
You could definitely play it. So
It's actually funny that you mentioned that, because if we were going into a discussion of what is better, and I think we've dabbled with this with, like, would you rather or whatever, but gameplay or story, I think, and I don't remember what my answer was, but today my answer is gameplay for sure, right? Because would you rather have gameplay or would you rather have story? I'm playing right now a Plague's Tale Requiem, and
it's the opposite.
it's the opposite, right? The story is phenomenal. The story is great. But the gameplay, in my opinion, I feel like is very lacking. It's probably one of the weaker points in the game. And I'm really finding it hard to continue moving on with the game, to keep pushing. Like, I want to keep pushing because of the story, because I want to know what's going on. But knowing that there's going to be these segments, these sections where I have to, make my way through a level, make my way through a section, or, like, kill these guards. Like, I'm just like, I just want to see the story. Like, I just want to know what's going on and what's happening. Where the opposite with Bayonetta, it's like you're just having fun nonstop. You're just having a great time.
Doesn't matter.
And you don't care about the story. It doesn't matter. It doesn't like carry the game, So
100%.
that's awesome.
And I agree with you 100% what you said. And I just think they could make Bayonetta 10 Bayonetta could be one of the greatest games of all time if they did actually focus on the story, which would be nice. Like if they actually made a story something for you to care about versus just you swirling around. It's just like literally, it's what I think of when I think of Bayonetta. It's just swirling around crazy. It's basically for me, in my opinion, a lesser version of Devil May Cry, because at least Devil May Cry I care about the story. Right. I don't know necessarily if everyone feels that way, but I think
there's
Devil
definitely
May Cry,
a story there to be told and to actually like care about. I don't know much about the story. I know you do for sure.
Right.
But even the things that you've mentioned to me, I'm like, okay, that's cool. That sounds really cool, like interesting. Like I just didn't get that one in my gameplay, when I was playing. But it sounds cool.
Yeah. So does this raise a question? I mean, obviously, I think the whole thing with the voice actor. That blew over. I think that's kind of like said and done. I mean, I know she kind of like made an opinion and it went out and it reverberated throughout the industry. But at the end of the day, the game's out now. You go buy it. Am I going to rush out to go buy it right now? Am I rush to buy this game? I'm going to wait a little bit. There's no real reason for me to purchase. I think if I wasn't moving, I'd probably buy it today.
Really? Okay.
I think I'd buy it, Friday when it comes out. So
okay. I still stand with what I said. I don't think I'm gonna buy the game by any means. I've not been a huge Bayonetta fan in that sense. I've played the other two, but this one I can probably get later down the road, right? To me though, I love how this game is getting the praise that it deserves because it is a phenomenal game, and the last two games were great. This being on the Switch, however, I did read some of the reviews saying that. Some people kind of wish it was on like a full-fledged like console with like 4K, 60 frames per second, and like just kind of really
is showing its age.
Exactly, yeah, and that's the downfall with the Switch. But again, still a gorgeous game, and I think another thing about Bayonetta that I truly love is the fact that if you think about it, Bayonetta is very sexualized, right?
Yeah,
and it's like in this day and age, it's like a no-no, right? But she kind of
owns it.
Leans hard, and she owns it, man. That's what I love about it. Like she owns it. It doesn't matter like what she's doing at that given time when you're playing, but like she really owns that, and they lean really hard on that, and it actually paid off. So I like the fact that she's getting, or like the game is getting the praise that it deserves.
Right. She got an invitation to Smash, and you're like, how?
Right.
At the time,
she's a Nintendo exclusive. You know what I mean? Like it's like weird to think about now, but.
Exactly. But yeah, like I said, go get Bayonetta 3 if you're an action fan. Honestly, don't let our opinion stop you. I'm just saying because I'm not, like I said, I'm busy, but I would 100%, this is not a game to be overlooked. If you want a good time, buy this game.
For sure.
We have another game that's coming out, and it's going to be fucking awesome, and it's going to get amazing reviews. News number 2, Resident Evil 4 is going to remove QuickTime events. Producer, I'm going to fuck his name up, as always. Producer Yoshaki Hirabashi, maybe, has revealed that Resident Evil 4 Remake will barely have any QuickTime events compared to the original. So back then, the original had a ton of QuickTime events. That was kind of like the thing in the 2000s where to make you more interactive in the cutscene, you got to like tap A really fast or else you're going to die or hit a boulder or whatever. Basically, what happened was Resident Evil 3 Remake, fans thought there was too many QuickTime events in the game. And they said that Resident Evil 4 is trying to address that. Apparently there was. I don't remember them specifically.
Yeah,
but there was. Now that I think of it, there was a time where like you're running away from the tyrant. Spoilers, by the way. You're running away from the tyrant and you're on the bridge and like he keeps like grabbing you at to like aim to shoot him and like hit wide. There were QuickTime events. If you go back, there were a few.
I don't remember that many, but sure.
But basically, QuickTime events were used heavily in the 2000s for games to kind of get you that realism, try to get you more involved with what's happening. But now what's happening is people tend to not like them as much because they can come off cheesy, they can come off cheap. Another way that Capcom is addressing the QuickTime events is Leon will now have a counterattack against like enemies. So like the chainsaw guy you saw in the trailer, he could use his gun, and it's going to be more of like a button input. It's not going to necessarily be a QuickTime event. So that is I think good news for everyone that there's going to be less QuickTime events. I really don't think a lot of people like them anymore.
Yeah, I don't really care for them. I think I used to really like them back in the day, but back in like God of War days, right? Like when they first came out, like those QTEs were like probably like one of the highlights of the game for the most part, because they really kind of made you feel like you were in the game and you were seeing like these crazy cutscenes, right? But yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't hit as well as it used to. So
I was gonna say
you're away with that.
Yeah, I was gonna say put a video up on this stuff like that, but I kind of wanted also to show a video of the QuickTime events from the original Resident Evil 4, so we can actually see what they look like.
What were you gonna say? What did you want to see?
I was gonna say put on a video of the original QuickTime events from Resident Evil 4. So maybe after this plays, we can show them.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so essentially, how do you feel about QuickTime events in your opinion? Think it's a good thing that they're doing this?
Yeah, I think this is a step in the right direction because, again, QTEs were something that was heavily used in the past, in the 2000s, and that's something that we don't quite see often here anymore in 2022. So I think it's good that they're kind of moving away from that, and they're not really focusing on all that stuff. And I like that they changed it a little bit so that it's, instead of having those QTEs, Leon has like a counter instead, which is kind of nice to see.
Right.
Visuals stunning. Changing that the QTEs, it's gonna make it so that it's like a fresh take on RE4.
Right.
So this actually got me really excited to play the game, because prior to them revealing the game, I wasn't really excited. I knew it was coming, but I wasn't I was like, all right, I already played it. I feel like it aged well from what I remember. But seeing this now, I'm like, yeah, this looks great. I kind of want to dive into this again because I remember having a great time.
Yeah, and what I love what they've done with these remakes is they did just enough to do the originals justice. Like Resident Evil 2 remake was incredible. I thought personally Resident Evil 3 remake was great. I enjoyed it. I thought
did
it was,
too. I thought it was great besides the ending.
Yeah, the ending was it was all right. It was lacking. But I also didn't really play the original Resident Evil 3 original. So
I never did either.
That could be why we thought it wasn't that great, because we didn't have a chance to compare it to the original.
Right.
So if you want to go ahead and type in here Resident Evil 4 QTE, just type that in.
Let me first off, let me just change this up. You keep talking.
But yeah, so those games were received mostly well, but the way they did the graphics, the way they do over the shoulder, I think they killed it. And I think with this one, they're gonna knock it out of the park as well. I think this is gonna be the best one yet, because they know that this holds a special place in gamers' hearts, right? This is the Resident Evil game. This is the one that you cannot mess up. This is the one. So yeah, if you just want to click and watch this video, this is a QuickTime event. So it doesn't look bad here, right? Like the original. But like the new one looks so good. Look, see? And if you were to mess up that QuickTime event, you would just die.
Right.
So you couldn't just like skip this scene. You just had to I don't know. Do you think it was good to take it out or no?
100%. Because think about it. If I know what they're trying to do with giving you that immersion of like being in the cutscene, being in the game. But then if you mess up, it takes you away from the immersion, right? I feel like if you mess up and it's kind of like a frustrating cutscene to like QTE to like, look at that. You had to press circle and X at the same time.
Like that.
Wild. And then if you die, it's like, oh, gotta watch this cutscene again. Like I'm like, come on, like it just gets a little tedious, a little redundant, and I think it's good that they kind of removed that from the game itself.
This is such a ridiculous scene, by the way. Just having a knife fight, just like it's cool,
just
but
reminds me of Metal Gear Solid. That's all.
So that's again Kojima. That's another example about Jesus, like Dragon Ball Z. Is he does it where like you're in the cutscene, you can move around. You're in the perspective of like your character you're playing, and you can like look around. I think that's a good example of using your cutscenes or your environment to really immerse the player. Versus this is kind of, I guess, like
Jesus Christ, dude.
They're just like cut up. Yeah.
What do you think would be the next iteration of QTEs? Like, do you think we're just getting away from QTEs and it's just like, that's it, we're done, like let's just watch the cutscene that we need to watch and that's it? Or is there another way to engage the audience while you're watching, say, a Kojima cutscene? Because they're long. They can kind of give you a lot of information in that one cutscene. Is there a way to kind of like maybe, I don't know, change it up a little bit?
So there's a difference between the QTEs and like the on rails section where we talk about. They're very similar, I think, in my opinion, because they're both kind of gimmicky, but at the same time, how do you get like that nice middle ground where like
Right.
you feel? So a good example is like if you have to climb a bunch of rocks. Like saying, I know this is not God of War, but say like the the mountain or is like falling down and like it's like erupting or something's happening where you have to climb up really fast, and if you don't climb up quick enough, you're gonna die, right?
Right.
I think scenes like that, I think Uncharted did a good job with that. Uncharted gave you urgency of like, you need to hurry up and climb or else you're gonna die. But in theory, that's kind of a quick time event, right? Because if you don't act quickly your time, you're gonna die. And I think that's a good medium of like, they have to trick you into thinking that you're actually doing something, but it's kind of still on rails and it's scripted.
Right.
I think that's the way to do it, in my opinion. What about
Yeah,
you?
I agree. I don't know where we're leading towards. I don't know where QTEs or like how cutscenes are going to be done, say 10 years from now, or if there's ever going to be cutscenes at all at that point, right? But I think Kojima does it the best way right now, where there's hints of, like, if you're watching a cutscene, you can probably press a certain prompt, and then like I think Metal Gear Solid 3 did this very well, where you're like seeing in the eyes of Snake sometimes. If he's looking at something, you can press the button. You don't have to, but you can press the button, and then you can see like the
His
end
perspective.
in the background, and you can see like his perspective or something. Like that's a kind of a cool way to engage the audience, to kind of keep them on their toes. I think Death Stranding does that too, where you
That's
can
trying to do
kind
a
of,
very
like,
good job. Yeah.
yeah. So there's ways to do that and ways to kind of engage the audience while you're watching cutscenes. But I'm glad that we're just done with the whole QTE thing, because then you're just like, oh my god, like stressed out at that point. You know what I mean? And if you mess up, it's just like, again, I gotta watch this over and over. I'm gonna mess up. It's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'm over QTs. And I think the reason why QTs exist in the first place too is because we're at a point graphically that games look so good that it's almost like you're watching a movie. So you're already involved. Like when you're watching a cutscene, you're like, oh, this is literally like watching a movie right now.
Right,
Whereas
right.
before it wasn't necessarily like you were watching a movie. You knew it was a game. So yeah, a couple other notes here. So Resident Evil 4 Remake will be about the same length as the original game. According to the producer, the original clocked in around 15 hours. I know, again, sour point about Resident Evil 3, people thought that it was extremely, extremely short compared. It was they cut it down quite a bit. I think people beat that game in like 6-8 hours. It was a very short game.
It's a short game.
So this one, they kept it the way it's supposed to be. And I'm excited for that. Like I said, it's probably going to cost a premium, going to be $60-$70 for that game. But I'm happy with it being 15-18 hours. That's a perfect amount for me to enjoy a game. I don't know about you.
Yeah, 15 is a sweet spot. I think Plague's Tale Requiem is about 15 hours right now. So I'm like halfway there. It's like 17 chapters, spoilers. And I'm on chapter 9, I think.
Right.
And I feel like I did a decent amount. So it's a good amount. I do find myself when I'm playing games like that are like very long, I'm like, what can I eat? Like, what can I eat while I'm playing this game? Like, I don't know. Do you ever find that? Like, do you ever like eat snack or something while you're playing, or no?
No. Again, it's hard for me because, like I said, I played Shadow Hearts 2 on my Steam Deck, and that's a long game. I'm on disc 2, and I'm pretty involved in it and stuff like that. Persona 5, I might be like, what should I? That's a lie. You were right, by the way. This is a side note, but like I was playing on the cloud, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be. It's gonna be a minute. It's gonna be a minute till I'm done with this game. But yeah, it's exciting stuff.
And plus, I'd rather play it on my Switch. I'm gonna be honest.
You want to play on your Steam Deck?
No.
Why?
Just because of the cloud. I don't want to.
No. You can buy it on Steam though.
You could. Okay. Yeah. If you can buy it on Steam, that makes it a little bit better. Yeah.
But you also get the battery life of the Switch though, which is nice compared to.
But because then if you're right. playing in the cloud, your battery saves so much. Like your battery is saved like 50% on the Steam Deck. Like I played Requiem for like 4 hours at one one time, and it was like 75% my battery. I'm like
100%.
It's great.
So here's my question too: is like what I don't like about the cloud, especially for a handheld, is when I go to like put it in sleep mode, it quits out of the thing. So like I can't really go back to the game where I started. I have to like go back and reload it, then continue. Yeah. It's a pain in the ass, and I'm like, I get it because you're literally cutting off the internet connection.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, so I don't know. That's a good. Now I'm contemplating. Should I buy? Because I definitely want to play. I definitely want to play. What's it called? Royal. At some point, like I want to go back into that game. I just don't know if I want to play it on my Steam Deck or on my Switch. I guess the Switch, you're definitely depending on the frames. That might be a huge factor.
Yeah, it depends what it looks like. If it looks like Dookie and it looks like so much better on the Steam Deck, you're better off getting on Steam Deck.
Yeah,
we'll see. Well, last piece of news for the week: Fallout 4 is going to get a next gen update. Really weird that we're talking about Fallout 4 in 2022, and that it's getting a next gen update. Before I go on, I'm like, the ship has sailed. Yeah, the ship has sailed. Why are we? I get it's like the 25th anniversary. They're like trying to do stuff and yada yada. But Fallout 4 for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and X will receive new improvements such as 4K resolution support, bug fixes, and performance improvements in 2023. Not even this year, 2023. And that's pretty much it. It's kind of weird that we're getting this out of nowhere. What do you think of this as far as why now?
Why now? I think
Starfield maybe? Like I don't know. Why?
I think it has to do with Microsoft in a sense of like now that Bethesda is acquired by Microsoft, I don't know, maybe Bethesda or maybe Microsoft is like, you know what, let's get this on par with the quality that we want it to be or what your vision was. Not that I'm not saying Fallout 4 was like terrible, but we know that Bethesda's games have what's it called? They're known for not having the best like frames and the best up to date speed to like when you first play that game. It's always like kind of buggy mess sometimes. So maybe that has to do with it, and plus having Bethesda's or Fallout's anniversary, maybe that's something that they want to kind of like tackle right now. I don't know. I really don't know why it's kind of like a random thing to do right now.
They want to let you know that like, hey, Fallout 5 is not coming out for a really long time.
Ah, that's a good point. You're joking, but that's probably a very good point. They're probably like, you know what, Fallout 5 isn't coming out anytime soon. Maybe we just give them an update, just kind of like, not that anyone was really yelling or screaming at the top of their lungs about this, but just to kind of like feed the people and just kind of like get them like quiet, you know? I don't know. That's a good point. But I honestly don't know why this happened now. It's kind of weird to see this now.
I'm not surprised because you know how many times they did an upgrade for Skyrim. So it's just that's just what they do. I mean, they're gonna go through Starfield. After Starfield, they're gonna do Elder Scrolls 6. And then after Elder Scrolls 6, then we're going to get Fallout 5. Right. And I'm like, damn, these boys are busy there. They're
pumping them out, dude. I'm just hoping that Starfield, now that, again, acquired by Microsoft, they have a type of polish to it that Bethesda games never really had in the past. That's my hope. I don't know. I don't think it's going to really change much because obviously Starfield was being, in the works for much longer than when Microsoft purchased Bethesda. But I'm hoping something along the lines, or maybe there's an update post-launch that kind of really enhances all the issues that Bethesda usually has when they release a game.
100%. Now this is off topic, but you know what game I want to see Microsoft like more information on by Microsoft? Hellblade. I want to see more of that stuff because that game looks freaking. The one thing we saw was like I think it was E3, like E3. Last. Yeah. So Microsoft, hurry up, show us some more shit.
That's a gem of a game. Gem of a game.
Yeah.
It's like one of those where like not many people have played it, and it's like kind of fallen through the cracks. Like the people that have played it, they're like, yeah, this game slaps. But there's not that many people that know about this game, I feel like.
Well, that's another one where we were talking about the gameplay, and I felt like the gameplay, the actual fighting was like okay. Like, but like the visuals,
Story.
the audio, the story, even the way you traverse the level is like, oh my god, this is awesome. But I was like, the combat's fine. So I'm hoping the next one will actually combine everything together, just make it perfect.
Agreed.
I think it will because it's going to be a bigger title. So
Yeah, for sure.
Well, everyone, that wraps up the news for the week. We're going to go into in-game chat, and I'm going to ask Kelvin a question, or ask you guys a question, just in general. We're just here to talk about games. So, so this one is inspired by from Silent Hills. Will we get a better Silent Hill better than PT? This is kind of controversial question here, Kelv. There was Silent Hill transmission quick briefing that happened not last week, but the week before, I think, like a Friday. And we're getting a Silent Hill 2 remake from Bloober Team. Silent Hill F, which is a new spin-off game set in 1960s Japan, which looks freaking dope.
Not much is shown, but still looks dope.
We just got like a little trailer, CGI trailer. Silent Hill 2 film is coming out. It's with the original film and director. And then Silent Hill Downfall, which we don't know. We don't know anything really about Downfall. And then Silent Hill Ascension, which is an immersive interactive streaming experience where players can control a narrative of the Silent Hill game launching in 2023. A lot of stuff there. Let's start with the first question here. Obviously, we kind of know what to expect from Silent Hill 2 Remake because it's Silent Hill 2.
Right.
Will Silent Hill 2 Remake be better than PT?
First off, have you played the original Silent Hill?
I have not played the original Silent Hill 2. Let me rephrase this before you answer this question fully. Silent Hills, PT, is not a full game.
Fair.
It is a demo of a game.
Fair.
So, are you saying that Silent Hill, what PT could have been, I guess is a better way of saying.
Yes.
What PT could have been, is Silent Hill 2 Remake going to beat whatever that would have been?
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. This is the thing.
Wait. I don't think so. Huh? Maybe, actually. Yes, no.
It's so contemplating. I'm contemplating. It's just in the fact that it's Bloober Team working on this game. It's been long rumored that they were going to be working on this game, and obviously the rumors were true. My only issue, and Bloober Team, don't get me wrong, they're not like a bad studio by any means. I think actually one of our first intros to like content creation was talking about them, right? Talking about Bloober Team, and I think I played the Medium at the time, and then I discussed like what I thought about the Medium, and I thought it was an okay game. It was like a 6 for me in my opinion, but besides the point. So I think Bloober Team makes okay games, and the fact that they're tied to a game that's already been made, it's just a remake, I think that saves them in that sense. I think if they're not changing too much from what we hear, they're not really changing too much of Silent Hill. They're just kind of like remaking it with like, better character models and better visuals and all that stuff. So that's good. So depends on how well people really adore Silent Hill 2. From what I understand, it's a great game, but I think people really love Silent Hill 1 more, which is odd for me to think, okay, well, why didn't they make Silent Hill 1 remake instead and then go on to 2 and then kind of do that? But regardless, going back to the question here, I think Kojima with PT, again, like you said, it was not really a full-fledged game, but just that sliver of gameplay that we had blew 90% of like horror games that was out at the time.
Yeah, even to this day, we were literally watching a video on it, and a part, like a 2-second part, scared the crap out of us. And we've seen this game forever. This game has been around for like 8 years. It's a demo, so like the fact that it still scares you, like
that just goes to show you that if this was a full-fledged game, it could have been award-winning.
It would have been
really dope, man. So
horror games.
I can't say if it would have been if Silent Hill is going to be better. I think what I'm trying to understand is like as far as like the brand itself, is Silent Hill, and plus whatever that was shown in the transmission showcase, is that going to overthrown PT? Because I feel like PT right now is like at the top, right? A lot of people think of that demo, that slither of like just like, oh, it was like the best,
Right.
But I feel like, can it be better than everything that's going to be produced moving forward for Silent Hill? I think so. I don't know. I feel like PT was and still is the best game out there for horror games, you know?
We'll have to see. I think right now, Silent Hill F, the one that's taking place in Japan, we'll have to see. We don't have any gameplay from it or anything like that, but maybe that could... I don't know. It's hard to say, too, because PT is a fucking scary-ass game. That game is creepy as balls, right? And I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think so.
You don't think so? You don't think what exactly?
I don't think that there's going to be... Out of the list here, I don't think any of them will be as scary as PT was.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. In my opinion. Just because of how attention to detail that game had, how it like fucked with your mind, how like it literally almost made you insane because you were doing the same thing over and over again. Like, but it changed it a little tiny bit, everything. Think about that. You're doing the same lap over and over again. Most of the time you'd be like, this is stupid, right? But the atmosphere made it to where it made it interesting every single time. You never got bored. There were just tiny little touches, which you gotta understand it. Like, how insane is that they were able to do that in that game?
Right. Again, you're playing the same thing over and over again, and the fact that that little change made you stay just a little bit longer, and you're like, all right, well, if I go through this door again, what happens? You know? And like, I think that was the beauty and the complexity of that game. That was like, wow, this is such a gem. And only a sliver. I can't say fucking sliver.
A sliver. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Only a sliver of that game was just made. Imagine if it was a full-fledged game. You know, it could have been insane, dude.
Yeah.
And plus, Norman Reedus was attached to that game. Remember, but it just never came to be.
You're right. You're right, 100%. Now, well, I think the Silent Hill games will do okay. And again, I think the Blooper Team thing is really kind of holding it back because it's the big question mark there. There's a huge question mark. Like, will they do it justice, I think. I don't think people are looking for, oh my God, they got to make Resident Evil 4 remake. I think they're just looking for, just do the game justice. That's it. Just make it to where we'll enjoy it. And it pays good homage to the original Silent Hill 2. The other games, can't really say because we don't have a ton of information, but we will soon.
Well,
hopefully.
I'm looking at it now. Who's making Silent Hill F?
No idea.
If it's the people that I think it is, because that can change a lot of things.
I don't know who's making it. I don't think, did they say who was making it yet or no?
Yeah, or maybe not. Maybe nothing was said about this game. There was. So
yeah, I don't think so.
Maybe it was transmission. There was one transmission.
Transmission?
Not transmission. Downfall, was it?
Ascension?
Was it Ascension?
Ascension, maybe it's Ascension.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was one with the TV.
Yeah,
it was Ascension. It's not whole Ascension. So,
all right. Well, we'll have to see because there's not a lot of details for these games, and there's not a lot that. It's funny because like we had a whole like 40-minute presentation, but although they tackled a lot of the games that are coming out, they also tackled, you know, the movie adaptation. They also tackled a bunch of like merch stuff too. So,
yeah, definitely. I think, like I said, we just have to wait and see what this. We have to wait to see how Silent Hill 2 comes out. Honestly, I think that's going to be a big indicator of how these might be. Because if Silent Hill 2 remake sucks, it's going to hurt the IP. It's going to hurt it. If it's good, then we're good.
Right.
There's also another scary piece of news. There is a new Ghost Pokemon was revealed this past week, and his name is Grievard. I think that's about right. Grievard? Is that how you say it? Grievard?
Yeah, sounds it. Yeah.
Okay. And he's a ghost dog. He's a little ghost dog. He looks great. I think I love his design.
He looks great.
Little candle on top of his head, and he looks like a little shaggy dog. I wonder what he's gonna evolve to. He's probably gonna evolve to something ridiculous.
I love how Pokemon now, I don't know if they've been doing this before, but I love how they just announce new Pokemon, like just strategically. They're just like, here's a new Pokemon for you guys to just get excited for a Pokemon, what's it called? Scarlet and Violet. So it's cool that they're just doing stuff like that. Like it's kind of like it reminds me of like Smash Bros. Just like revealing new characters.
Yeah, that's what I like. Which to me has been pretty amazing that we haven't gotten a leak on all of the new Pokemon. Usually, a couple of weeks before we get, or a couple of months before the game comes out, we get like a huge. I know for Pokemon Legend Arceus, we had a big leak and it showed everything, like all the forms, everything.
We might have to talk to Papa Genos. He might know more about it than we do.
Yeah, but I haven't seen anything online about a leak for the new Pokemon at all. Like we don't know what the final evolutions look like yet, and for the starters, and the game comes out in like 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So good for whoever keeping it tight, because that's hard to do nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, that is going to conclude everything for the week. Talked about the news, in-game chat. PT is going to be hard to, dethrone as far as the best Silent Hill game, but we're going to have to see. Kel, anything else you want to talk about before we end the podcast for today?
Yeah, going back to Silent
Why are your lips so red?
My lips are red?
Yeah, your lips are really red. Were you drinking like Kool-Aid?
I was drinking coffee, bro.
Oh, it looked like maybe my lips are red too. Okay, anyways, continue.
So, the studio that I was looking at, back to Silent Hill here. So, Annapurna Interactive, they made a bunch of games that they made the cat game. What's it called? Stray.
Stray. Okay.
They made what's that game? White. What's that game that I was playing a lot?
The white, something white. Something Neon White.
Neon White. Thank you so much. Neon White. And now they're tied to the game for Silent Hill. They're tied to Silent Hill Townfall. So, with a bunch of other people like No Code Studios, Konami, obviously. So, back to that. I think for me, what Annapurna has shown me with Neon White and with Stray, that they have a really good, diverse way of gameplay, and maybe Silent Hill Townfall can be. We don't know anything about Silent Hill Townfall. They showed a teaser trailer about it, so it's not really known of like what this really is. It was just like a tape recorder kind of saying stuff or whatever. But I feel like they can really nail it out the park, and I wouldn't mind seeing them tackle their own Silent Hill game, just to kind of see what kind of gameplay they come up with, because they make some really cool games, and their gameplay is like top notch.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, that's really exciting you say that, because those are pretty awesome games. All the ones you said,
different, distinct games, completely different games.
So if they can put their spin on it, and with Silent Hill, I think it's going to be actually pretty fun to see. So yeah, good find on that. I think that's actually going to be a fun one. Yeah, definitely. A couple of other things here. Gotham Knights sucks.
Oh my god! Can we talk about that for a little bit?
Oh my god!
We've been following this game since it was announced, and I was more on the side of like, you know what, this could be a really good game.
Yeah, you were fucking mistaken.
But I was mistaken, man. Unfortunately, I mean, from what I hear, it's not terrible, but it's not great.
Yeah, it's just everyone just says that they want to play. Like, you just want to play as Batman. Like, the fact, it just feels like these are pieces of Batman. You're not, like, when before in the Arkham games, you're like, you were Batman, so why can I just do that? And it feels like you kind of stripped it down and separated them. And from what I heard, everyone just wants to play as Batman for the most part. So.
And I mean, I think, see, I don't mind playing as other characters as long as they do the other characters justice. I feel like a lot of the takedown attacks and those look really cool. The fact that it's not a steady 30 frames is bothering to me. Like, I feel like if it was just like locked in at 30, I wouldn't been okay with that.
It should be 60. It should be 60.
It should be 60, 100%. But, whatever. Making games is hard. I get it. But if the fact that it dips down to less than 30, that's where I'm like, all right, well, you guys could have figured this out, delay the game, something like to kind of like really make sure that you guys hit that 30 frames if that was what you guys were locking in at. So
Listen, Bloodborne back from 2018 or whatever fuck it came, or what did Bloodborne come out?
Bloodborne was 60 frames.
No, it's 30 frames.
Came
But
out-
I'm saying it's an old ass game, and that was 30 frames. And this is 2022. You can't make a game. You know what I mean? I know I'm kind of comparing apples to oranges, but like at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like it's an old game. Like that's what I'm comparing it now to. Like you gotta get especially if you're gonna make a fast paced game. Like you got Spider-Man to look out. You know what I mean?
Bloodborne
Like,
came out in 2015.
That's wild. That's insane.
Wild, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, don't get Gotham Knights. Apparently, it's not that great. I would get it. I wouldn't spend the money on it.
No,
honestly,
no.
yeah, don't do that. Yeah, I mean, I just got reminded of that, and then I think the single player for Call of Duty is okay.
So yeah, the single player for Call of Duty, from what I've read from IGN, is a 6, right? 6 out of 10. Now, to me, that was very alarming. Like I was kind of confused. I'm like, wait, isn't like this was supposed to be a hit, right? Like this was supposed to be like a banger for Modern Warfare 2, right? But that's not the case. And I mean,
I heard
from
the
what I've
ending's
seen,
great.
The visuals look great.
Yeah.
Visuals look really good, but character models still look kind of weird. Like they have these photorealistic
They're there, but
places.
they're not there. It's weird. Yeah, like the character faces too. Like they look realistic, but they're not
Right.
realistic. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, that sucks. But I mean, a lot of people are still gonna buy it. A lot of people are still gonna play it. I'm in for just for the fun of what's it, Warzone? So Warzone 2,
Yeah,
baby. Let's go.
Warzone and multiplayer is where it's going to be at. So I will be. Are you getting this? Are you going to get it? Are you going to buy it?
I keep saying yes, but I don't know. Like, am I gonna really play the story? The multiplayer?
Are you going to play multiplayer? Are you going to play like actual team deathmatch and domination?
Are they
and
doing
all-
the thing where you can just play You can just buy the multiplayer and not the campaign?
I don't know. Because that'd be nice if you could just pay like $40 and get the multiplayer. I would do that. in a
Weren't they doing
heartbeat.
that before, right? Or was it just at one point they were just having you purchase the game and then you can? I don't know. I don't remember.
If you can like install, you can install the different
Install,
sections.
maybe that's
how
what I'm
you-
thinking about.
Maybe that's what you're thinking because I don't remember how they did that. But yeah, well, like I said, I think I'm gonna get it, but the game doesn't actually come out till I think Friday, right? I think Friday is when it comes out.
Friday, yes. I think I'll get the multiplayer. The only reason why I'm thinking about getting the multiplayer is just to boost up my
Guns.
my guns, because that's really all I care about, to like help me in the Warzone, basically.
But fun. But the multiplayer is also fun to like if you want to take a break from Warzone, you can just like jump on multiplayer, warm up, go in there, play a few games, get a bunch of people in, have to like keep dying and then coming back in. It's a nice mix up, at least for me. I don't know for you.
I
Yeah.
don't care for. I mean, I get it. It's fun with friends. When you're by yourself, you're like, I don't care.
All right. Well, guys, I'm going to be in my new office/studio next time you see me.
I'm
So-
excited to see it because I haven't seen it.
Well, it's not going to be anything crazy yet because it's still going to be a work in progress. Obviously, I'm not going to have everything ready by that time, but at least I'll be on and present. But
Right.
it's going to be exciting, and yeah, we're almost at our episode 100 soon. is going to coming up soon.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll do something.
Do we
fun
have
for that.
anything? We have. I guess we can say we have a giveaway coming up next month. We're not going to say what, but there is a giveaway coming out next month, which is going to be pretty exciting to share with you guys. But for the 100th episode, I don't think we have anything planned as of yet. It can change. Anything can change. We still got several weeks, but I think it'd be cool to do something. I don't know.
Did you get the thing yet?
No,
You didn't get it? Okay. All right. You'll know what that thing is,
but
guys.
it's gonna be after the 100th, I think. So
Is it? I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
we'll talk.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to us. We appreciate your support. Please go ahead on your socials, leave us likes, comment on anything we post, and like I said, reach out to us wherever. Send us a DM if you just want to have a conversation. We're here.
Slide into our
And-
DMs, baby.
Yeah, slide into our DMs exactly, and vote for Kelvin to grow out his beard.
Vote
to
for me.
prove
Yeah,
to
we're
us-
gonna post that, huh?
and we will. We're gonna post it and be like, hey, should Kelvin grow his beard? And it's all gonna be yes. I think it's all. Everyone's gonna say yes. In my
Whoever
opinion.
says no, you guys need to show yourself cowards. Just
I feel like the fact that you can actually grow like a nice full beard, I feel like Allure should be happy with that because there's a lot of guys that
she
can't
doesn't
grow
like
a
the
thick, full
the
beard.
prickly. She doesn't like the prickly thing. She thinks they feel like pubes. That's what she said.
No. So once it grows long enough, it's gonna be soft.
That's what I'm saying, and I'm
gonna be like a
maintaining it. It's
pillow.
not like I'm just letting it grow and not.
Yeah, it's not gonna be all like wiry.
conditioning
And
it.
yeah, exactly. So like mine grows out like very thick, like comes out like this, right? It doesn't really grow on the sides here, like right here.
Why did you
It's-
stop? Let's do it
Why-
together. Let's grow our facial hair. I'm serious, bro. Let's fucking do it. You know
No
what I
shave
mean?
November. You want to do no,
No
shave
shave.
November?
I'm already doing no shave November. I started early, but I feel
Alright.
like you should do it with me. And by the end of November, see how it is. If you like it, keep it.
Well, you have a head start. Well, you cheat a little bit because you trim a little bit on the side here.
Yeah, I do a little down here, but I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not okay. No shave November doesn't mean that you just let yourself go.
No, that's
no
what it
shave
means.
November means no shave
No,
November
no,
means that
no.
you don't like shave your facial hair, but you can still trim it. You make it. You don't want to look like a bum.
I listen. What I heard is you just like let it grow and not do anything about it. But I like your
I
take
can't do
better.
that.
I like your take better. But yeah,
No, we
I-
let it grow and then we make it clean. We cleaned it up. That's all.
all right. I will not shave it then. I will not touch my beard, and I will join this journey with you. Even though you're gonna grow a much better beard than I am, 100%.
We're gonna change our names to like the bearded bros or some shit. You know, like fucking crazy shit.
That sounds like a gay porn. No,
Oh God.
the bearded bros. I'm just kidding. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. So we'll see you
do it.
next time with more facial hair, guys.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Good night.